medicine and BA in St. Louis. Nathan specializes in clinical medicine and education with a special focus on marginalized populations, including patients with substance use disorder and those who are unhoused. Under his leadership, StreetMed STL has grown from a single physician, him, with a backpack to dozens of volunteers, including clinicians, social workers, and nurses. To say that that Nathan is an inspiration to all of us who are part of the StreetMed STL is an understatement. Nathan has also graciously agreed to moderate this session. So without further ado, Nathan, thank you again for moderating this session.
Thank you. All right. So we're very lucky. We have three of our friends that are here with us today. I have a few questions, and then we'll kind of go a little bit around robin to have them answer them. And as I ask the first question, I'll have you kind of start with, introduce yourself a little bit, and then tell us your answer. But so we'll start here with you, Shantae. Maybe you can, I'd be interested to know, to the extent that you want to share, what your experience has been with homelessness and where you are kind of in your journey today.
Well, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Shantae McIntosh. I would say experiencing homelessness was very extreme for me on the severity of I was homeless for at least a year and 6 months. It started effective March 2024, March 14, 2024, all the way up until when I became homeless or housed October 17th of last year. And when I say the barriers I faced, I was homeless for probably about 5 times. During this breaking period, I would say I've learned more humility, gratitude, and resources that I would never have had offered towards me through street medicine, such as Dr. Nolan, Miss Sarah, Miss Margot, the names I have not yet called. They have showed complex outreach to not only me, my team members. We lived together on this campsite with the brutal, severe weather climates, and how we survived was with each other. We depended on each other. We learned how to speak each other's language. We asked, we opened our mouths when we needed things. They saw it, they were impressed, they wanted to be involved. The doctors were so uplifted by the control and how much we leaned on each other versus tearing us down about it. They invested their time out of their busy schedules to see about us. I found more love in being homeless. I found God in the eyes of people that are behind their collars, as they call white coat syndrome. That went away. They were God's hands and feet for us every Saturday. I seen it. It was no more collars. It was no more suit ties. It was no more me looking at you with this distinguished snarling of the nose that you're up and down. They looked at us like people. That's what real street medicine love that they poured out weekly on a mundane basis. Food, hygiene, therapy, meds, you name it, and love. They didn't have to do this, and they weren't paid for this. They did it out of their hearts. And Dr. Nolan, if it wasn't for him, I would have lost my mind a long time ago. I was worried about my finger. He saw how complex my finger was. I thought I was going to lose my finger. But he willingly, consistently, he didn't look at it and was like, oh, this is disgusting or whatever. You can see the miracle of what he's given me on my finger. It is not like what it was. I couldn't even go into details. I had years of complex calluses on my hands that looked like I had a disease. He took pictures of it. And you cannot see that on my finger. That's how much they were in tune with us, making sure the small things were accounted for. Not because we just looking to get flex collars and points and talks and stuff. It wasn't that. It was their passion. It was their assignment. Long story short. Thank you.
Yeah. You could go on to that day. And then there's, yeah, Jessica, you want us to answer that question?
Well, Shantae really put it to, you know, everything she said is so true. Street Med has did so much. I have a lot of stomach issues, and they've literally helped me through all of them, through the pain, through the doctor's appointments. I didn't have to want or need. They were there for me, and they have helped so much. And it's just nothing really I can add to it. But without them, I don't know where I would be. And it's just, I love them with all my heart. Because without Dr. Nolan and his team, Margot, Leslie, all of them, and they're always there for us. And I just want to say a big thank you with all my heart to all you guys. Without you, there's a lot of us out there that would not make it. And being homeless it's hard. It's hard to survive out there. Like she said, through the weather, the storms, I can build my tent up and the wind will knock it down, tornadoes, whatever comes through. And the next day I'm up to building it again, over and over. Survive with no heat, but we do it. We do what we can to get through it. And they're out there. They come, they help us. So you guys, thank you so much for everything. I appreciate everything with all my heart.
Thank you. AT, do you want to hit the button there?
I guess it's my turn, huh?
Yeah.
First and foremost, I cannot take nothing away from anything that these two ladies have said here and said. It's a God's miracle to have you, Dr. Nolan, and as well as Margot and Leslie, the whole team of Street Med. Without you guys, like they said, you make homelessness a lot. I didn't think I was supposed to get up here and cry. But, sorry. But you do, you make it a lot easier every day. And, I have a lot of issues, mental, physical. And sometimes I feel like I don't even want to burden you guys with a lot of stuff. So I try my best not to even talk about it when you come Saturday. And then there's times where Jess would be like, babe, go tell him. Go tell him. Like, I'm like, no. I won't take the time out to stop talking about me for a second to say congratulations, Dr. Nolan, on having little Nolan. It's things like that. Dr. Nolan came out the following Saturday, I want to say, right after he had his son.
It's okay. Take your time.
Sorry. You just don't know how special it means. I have family I haven't seen in years. They won't even bother to reach out. I'm pretty sure I'm from St. Louis. So when I say I'm pretty sure somewhere along the lines they've seen me somewhere. And they wouldn't bother to stop on a regular day, but Dr. Nolan can get out here every Saturday. Every Saturday. With it, excuse me, with his team. And not just Dr. Nolan. I mean, like I said, again, the whole Street Med team. I'm sure you could be doing anything better. But you guys make it.
no matter the weather.
Well,
They out there.
I appreciate you all. I promise we did not pay them for their endorsement. I do, hey, thank you for saying thank you. And hopefully people do realize, and one thing we try to talk a lot about is, and Brett and Jim talked about, is it really is a relationship dynamic that is different than anything else that you'll experience. Rather than, and I'm editorializing just for a moment, rather than having someone that comes to your exam room and which creates a power dynamic, right? Like you're entering orders on the computer. There are barriers that exist. People have to go through registration, to show up every week and see folks, and they become part of your life. You become part of their life. You guys knew when we got married, and the first thing when we got back, everyone wanted to see photos. Like, we're all kind of like one big crazy family, I say. I do, why we have this opportunity, I greatly appreciate you talking about how much we've helped you. I'd be really fascinated to hear, there's a lot of folks here that are in the healthcare system more broadly. I'd be interested for you to share things about your experiences with healthcare in general, and they can pertain to street med, but also not to street med. Like, what are barriers or successes you've had? What are things that the healthcare system could be doing differently? Maybe I can start with you, Shante.
I would say the barriers would be eliminated if we can just focus on the people. When I say people, not just the projects itself and the money and the infrastructure that you get from doing it, but when you pour back into people's heart, their needs, you meet what they're saying, you hear what they're not telling you, you pay attention to the small things and get this in the hands of the city hall, make this a budget bill, the infrastructure is made aware, petition some signers on here to get involved, to get your voices heard. So this proposed bill can be in place of many people to see, man, we got a movement going. Pallet Yard, which is now called Field of Hope, is ground zero for many future homeless projects with tiny houses. When I say tiny house, I mean people trying to get a job to keep that tiny house. They're not just living out there to get smoked and get high and all that. There are rules acclimated for what you have in place. So when we talk about barriers, yes, that comes with consequences if you do not keep up what we have built for you out of your earned dollars. But yet you see the progress. That is what infrastructure should look like in the hands of City Hall, and you'll get recognition for it. Amen. Amen.
Another thing that could be done would be give us a chance. There's a lot of us out there that don't have nobody. And if somebody, if even get a team together, someone to pick up a team, jobs, offer jobs, offer help, and a lot of us out there, if we could get that, we could survive and we could actually get off the streets. Yeah, we do have some resources for getting that, but a lot of us don't have the transportation. A lot of us don't have some of those resources. I don't stay at the Pallier, but where I stay, we don't have none of that. I have to walk to get those resources. So, like I said, if you offer a lot of us jobs or transportation or anything like that, that would help us, even bus tickets, so that's one thing that would help us a lot, to help us to get to move and move forward with our life and to get where we need to go.
Can I piggyback off what you both were saying and summarize? So I think what I'm hearing and what I know is that there are a lot of people that are in this kind of dire situation, but they actually want things to be different.
Yes.
They want to work.
Yes.
They want to have you're talking about you stay somewhere different, and so the big encampments get a lot of resources, but no one comes out to you to help you with food or things, but there are a lot of folks out there that are just trying to get by.
Yes.
We're living paycheck to paycheck, and now they're out on the street and they want to get back. We run into that all the time. People tell me that they're trying to get back into their trade. They're trying to, and what you're saying is just driving to a job is a challenge when you don't have a car, right? Going to work every day when you don't have a shower, like putting on a uniform is hard. So don't let me speak for you, but I just wanted to summarize what I think that I'm hearing, which I think is really important, which is different than I think what a lot of media is portraying today about people who are unhoused. I think most of the people we run into actually are trying to better their lives. They're not given the opportunities to do so.
We just need that chance, a chance. If people would give us a chance, we could show them that we are good people. There's a lot of us out there. Not all of us are bad. So, I mean, like I said, all we want is a chance to be able to show what we can do and how far we can get.
KT, do you want to jump in there?
Oh yeah. It's what, 2026 now, and I'm far past saying what a person can do for me, but what a person can help me do for myself. That's that's where I'm at today. Excuse me, choked up from the last the previous one. But yeah, I mean, like standing on your own 2 feet can be hard. You know what I mean? But when there's people, and I'm surprised, like literally, I look around this room and I didn't think it was this many people who were willing to spend their time and efforts into a project like this one right here. And thank all of you for even considering to do what you're doing right now today, because that right there in itself shows me that there are people that care. And that's the first step. Other than that, for what we need out there, excuse me for how I'm gonna put this, but porta potties. I cannot walk around the corner and see somebody else bent behind a tree again. It's time that we all have a privacy. Yes, yes, and warming stations. Warming stations are big right now. For as how the weather is about to get, because I know people are not even wealthy or beyond that. People are not trying to put money in constant hotels, and that's understandable. I was lucky that I had to pay the hotel to come here, and when I seen the price, I was like, "Do I have to work for y'all when I'm done?" Okay, thank God, because $200 or whatever a night, that's pretty steep. You know what I mean? So, but if you give people the proper tools to let them either build their own areas, because we have plenty of space out there where like me and Jess right now, we're working. It's in due process, but we're working on our own little tiny house. We take what little wood we can get, what little nails we can scrap, and we put it together to try to make something out of it. And I feel like what you're putting, sorry, man. What you're putting your money into will probably better help us build a better tiny home for ourselves. And that's where I'm at in 2026. I want you to help me help myself.
All right.
Amen.
We've hit on some of these things already, but what are things that and we've kind of gone through a lot of questions quickly, so I'm gonna jump to some questions we maybe didn't talk about. But I guess first, if you have this platform, right? You're in front of this great audience, and there's even some people watching online. Like, what are things that you want people to know about you or unhoused people? I think you've said a lot of those things, but if you were to to try to articulate or to try to share your reality so people get a better glimpse of what it's like, the struggles that you have? Is there anything that comes to mind, like the porta potty? I mean, probably how many people think even just getting to a bathroom
Yes, it can be a struggle.
is a huge struggle, you know?
It is.
Showers.
Mm-hmm.
What other things are things that you're really doing without that we might take for granted, those of us that are housed?
Mm-hmm.
Heat,
Heat.
electric.
Yeah, how to keep ourselves warm. We use sanitizers and you could say a steel pot and put it in our tent at the bottom so that we won't burn the roof of it off, just to keep it warm through the coldest winters. That's how I survive. Then I pop into my cover and cover myself and don't let no wind get inside my cover, and make sure I double up on my socks and have on my heating pad.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I survive the winter, brutalest winter. I mean, 6 feet of snow up to here, winds blowing 13 miles an hour.
13.
And I have to not get out until I have to use the bathroom or reignite that fire just to stay warm to get through, and still got to go get my food unless they come to my tent. That was what it looked like on a day-to-day in a cold homeless a night or day. You didn't know if you ate or if you was going to get through without frostbite.
Mm-hmm.
But my
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I prayed. That's what got me through. When they sing, my faith not shaken or be unquivered by the battles of the storm. That was the peace that calmed that storm. They wanted to work with me. We had some that bucked against me, but I was nobody. I became somebody because I put myself aside, and my leader made me the donation leader. Every time they would call, it's like, food here, Palliard. You hear my little voice telling them, come on down here. I felt God warn me, telling me this is not just me. This is an assignment. And once I passed that assignment and God could trust me and pass those tests, I found myself getting resources for housing, calling, verifying. It only took me 2 months to get my housing. When I took that call, I had domestic abuse. Oh, Lord. I would go into details. We saved that time for another time. But because of those barriers and setbacks, I was able to wean myself from the street in 2 months' time. And I'm still housed today with a job, full scholarship, a HR internship, and I start my work effective February 11th, paid training.
Amen.
I forgot one little minor detail. I have my son back as well.
Oh,
Thank you.
Well, I'm still working towards a lot. Yes, getting my kids a house and making my family with my husband to be able to be a whole family with our kids with us. And like I said, it's a struggle, but one day with Shantae is, we're gonna be there. And with a little push goes a long way. So one little push gets you on your feet and you move yourself and you do it yourself and you can do it. So it's like I see myself, my future, one day I'm gonna be there, and it's because of everybody that has helped with that little push. And I know I might not be around to say thank you, but I will say thank you today for that little push for my future, because everybody that I know people loves and cares for all of us, and we just kind of stick together.
Amen.
Family or not family, we still stick together and be there for each other. There's a lot of things I do. When donations come out, I take extra because there's people that come through my camp because there's only a few people at my camp, and the strays that come through, the people that come through don't have what I have. I have extra food, I have extra blankets, and I have extra clothes. That way, extra coats. Here, take this coat, take this bag of food, and a cover. You can sleep in my tent, get you some sleep. I help those who don't have it because I know what it's like. I'm out there with them. We're all survived together. And through the cold, through the heat. I got real bad asthma, so when it gets too cold, my asthma messes up. When it gets too hot, I can't hardly breathe out there. But I survived, and like I said, we all help each other out there through everything. And like I said, that thank you guys, everybody.
Sorry, give me a second.
Can I just say that I have never met a more generous community than the Unhoused community that we serve.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
Miss Sarah.
Give myself a pat on the back for that one. And thank you for that. Thank you for the realization. I guess, could you ask me that question one more time, Dr. Nolan? I want to piggyback off what they said, but I want to make sure I'm in the right zone to say what I want to say.
I think what we're just interested is what could we learn from you? Like, what are experiences that we never would imagine, right? So I know that Jessica was talking about her asthma, you know, in the winter, burning things inside your guys' tent to survive. How that we know that impacts your asthma, right? These are the things that I think people don't think about, that don't have that lived reality.
Right.
So I'm just interested in us being able to hear from you.
Okay.
What are the things we otherwise wouldn't know about?
Okay, I thought that's what I heard. I wanted to make sure. Show of hands, anybody who afraid of rats? Anybody? Anybody? I'm gonna say a lot
afraid of
hands
rats.
in here. Rats. So you imagine
Snakes.
waking up out of your tent and say around 12, 1 o'clock, to go use the restroom, like the outhouse, okay? And a rat. No, I'm sorry, a bull rat. No. What am I looking for? Excuse my language, but a big ass rat. But like this, come stepping out the tent with you. And yeah, so when you think living outside is bad, wait till you meet your next door neighbor, the wildlife. You know what I mean? That's a subject in itself. And it's not, I don't like rats, but I don't want to kill them, you know, but I would like to have something that would probably, the only reason why I don't want to kill them is because I don't want to pick them up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that. But the thing is, when you live in nature, you live with nature. And that's pretty much one of the things that's scary, because my wife one time, I get home late night and she's screaming. Now, mind you, I have no fear of snakes. Well, copperheads, yeah. But like, you know, she's screaming, and I mean to the top of the lungs, babe, oh my God. And I'm like, what's wrong? You okay? And she goes, snake. Now I'm thinking in my mind, snake. Now I'm not afraid of snakes, but there are those snakes. You know what I mean? I don't care what you say, you don't want to run into a king cobra, which I doubt it, you know what I mean? But you don't want to run into nothing like that. But when she did, and the fact is, our tent mates at the time had one of the guys, he had already killed the snake. But I know how she's afraid of him. And with that being said, I know how snakes are too. Get it? If 1 minute you make the wrong move, a poisonous snake can take your life. Now I'm gonna pause on that, because being afraid of something, yo, what is it? How does that go? Flight or fright, or how?
Something like that. Fight, flight.
Firefly, yeah.
You know, so I know that the human nature kicks in, so does the animal's nature, and it's going to protect itself. And that in that instant, she could have just been as well gone if that snake was to get her. You know what I mean?
He was a baby copperhead.
Yeah, but you don't know that one thing about baby snakes, especially the venom ones, is when they bite you, they can't control their glands. So
Yeah.
when they bite you, and they that's how it's gonna sound. It's gonna come right in.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna stop.
So exposure to a lot of elements, exposure to a lot of nature.
Oh, yeah.
Woo. One thing that we talk a lot about that maybe other, I guess I have two more questions I wanted to ask you. We'll get through. Because I want to circle back to the talking a little bit about community. But one thing that I think also doesn't get talked about enough is your just sleep in general, right? How much sleep do you get? Are you able to actually sleep? Do you feel comfortable sleeping outside? Because
No.
No, and that also, I know a lot of people don't like to speak on it, but I'm gonna be honest with you as well. I suffer from a drug addiction. I have to have uppers just to stay up. You know what I mean? I won't sleep because I like to work. My hustle is the way that we keep little odds and ends that that we don't ask you for, like cigarettes or, the big bottles of soda in the middle of the night, whatever it is, that we need. So, yeah, I do. I feel like the uppers is where it helps. Excuse me. Where it helps me go. I know it's not prescribed for me, but it's my own street med, if I should say the least. You know what I mean? But yeah, it keeps me up. I can't sleep outside, especially at night, especially with jumbo rats and all that. It wouldn't work. I'd be afraid that I wake up to that and I will unhouse myself for real. You know what I mean? So,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I have a nerve problem. When my nerves go crazy, I freak out really, really bad.
yeah, that's an
And
understatement.
I was literally driving crazy.
Listen,
My addiction is I've cut off I don't do a lot of drugs anymore, but I do smoke some marijuana. And I do that because of my nerves. And that's whenever my nerves bother me. I will smoke just a little bit because it calms me down. And when I seen that snake, I went into a panic and literally went crazy, running around like a chicken that got cut off. And me trying to stay sober out there and not do the other one, it's hard, but I do it for a reason. Because I know I can stay clean and I can help them and we just push ourselves up forward. So like you said, it's rough out there. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it.
We're gonna be all right.
That's right. If Shantae can do it, we all can do it.
Yes. I felt like they felt like when I left, they felt a piece of me, a piece of hope came away. I felt like that's what they needed. In the Bible days, not sidebar from where we're talking about, but Jesus sat with the sinners. Did you see that? Drug addicts and all, whatever they had, paraphernalia, whatever. He did not disintegrate or make them be ostracized, from being different or behind the cloth or being religious. He wasn't about that. Jesus was the epitome of what it means to be his hands, feet, demonstrated. He fed them, he prayed for them, he gave them the word, and he told them to go out there and make disciples. I was doing what my father's son was doing. And because of that, when he said my time was up, I had to go. And that was the most saddest, most sweetest moment, but I understood my purpose then. My purpose came fulfilled when the time was up, not because I was there. When I had to go, I wanted to stay. I didn't want to go. But reality kicked in. And then I knew I grew in that moment. And it was all because of being broken. I had to lose everything, everyone, just to get it all back, double from my trouble. That's just like Job. God tested him so much, but in the process, he did not curse his father in heaven, and God blessed him triple than he ever received. Tell me if I'm blessed. I don't pay for nothing in my house. Everything I have is blessed. Someone's given to me, from the TV to my clothes I'm wearing to my bills. That's how blessed I am. Because when you sell out and you choose God, He will bless you in ways you can never even imagine. Because I believe if I lose everything, I would get it back double. Thank you.
Time for four more minutes. Okay. I think the last question that I wanted to talk about, you know, and Sarah was bringing this up, you know, in regards to the generosity, but one thing a theme that continues to come up, you know, resilience is one theme. I think the other is community, right? How much community and you find trying to survive with people around you. And one of the things that worries me, and we've all talked about before, is when, you know, communities want to, towns, cities want to break up those communities, how harmful that is. But can you maybe just speak about your experience of community while being unhoused?
Oh, should I start that?
Sure.
Oh, you sure? I should start. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. It has its pros and its cons. The pros is, you know, being outside, you have to have someone to lean on. You know, even with me having my wife and her having me, it's still not enough because, you know, especially in the beginning of being unhoused, because you don't know the ins, the outs, or the whereabouts. And so you need somebody who's experienced to tell you where to go to get what resources, or what to do to get money for yourself. And without that community, or the people from the community to lean on, being unhoused would be a lot worse when it when it comes to the struggle. Now, I will say this, that was the pros. I ain't have much to say about the pros as I do the cons. It's a lot of cons. You got thieves, you got gossip, you got the everyday thing of, it's like having, I'm pretty sure y'all, a lot of people in this room that grew up in a house full of your family, right? Some of them you would not let in your house right now today, right?
That's correct.
Well, just think about a lot of them right now not being your family, but they're like your family. And a lot of them I won't let in my tent today. You get what I'm saying? Because you can't trust everything. Most of the ones that, whew, I had to think, I almost cried about that. It's like most of the ones you think you're cool with, they're snaky so fast, and you just turned your back and they just stole everything from you, including what you got on. You know what I mean? So like it's tough. But then again, like Shantae said, you have to learn. That's the good thing of also brings back the pros because it makes you appreciate what you lose. You appreciate it a lot more. You know what I mean? When you lost it or it's broken and you can't get it, than you do when you have it. Vice versa. You know what I mean? Like I now know what it feels like really to have nothing. So whenever I get something, I know how to treat that something. And that's how that works.
Anything you want to add?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, just asking about community. So we were talking about kind of the importance of community. I think KT was also telling, I mean, it's maybe there are pros and cons, right? So community helps a little bit with survival, but then also everyone's trying to survive, you know? And so.
Then, are we talking about the community of people that live in the homeless or the community of the people around the homeless?
You could answer. I'm fascinated to hear the second part of that question. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of people that do help, but then you have your negative people that will walk by you and judge you and put you down just because they see you don't have something. And a lot of people, they try to take it away from you. You can't stay here. You can't you can't do this. You can't do that. And we go through that every day. We've been kicked out of 4 different places within the past year and a half. And in the past 3, 4 months, we've had to move twice just because somebody bought the land we were staying on. And you got 2 days to move, or I'm gonna bulldoze all your stuff. We lost over half of our stuff on that project. But not even 6 months before that, we had to move from the building we was living in because they're tearing it down because people like to come and start fires and try to burn us down. And the people in the community around where we were staying, they didn't care. All you heard was judgment. But you had some people that come by that do care. So, I mean, if more people gave more heart and care into helping people, I'm not saying money wise or, this or that. I'm saying just have a heart and just say, you can walk up to somebody, how is your day going? Do you need anything? Can I get you some food or get you something to drink? And some people will say no. Or you can walk up to somebody and give them a hug, and that'll put a smile on their face. That's the only thing they want. So.
Welcome to me.
But I mean, that, just have a heart and care. Show more, God blesses those who bless others. And so, I mean, it's just something that a lot of us need is someone to show that they care.
So I think for the sake of time, I think that, just to end on that powerful note, which I think also really underscores something that maybe is not always communicated, but what you're saying is we're not always just even asking for things, like just a little bit of compassion, maybe not treat us like we're not human, and that can make a difference. So thank you so much for being willing to get on stage in front of all these people you don't know and share.
I did my push-up last night.
So, all right. Thank you all for being so kind. That's for you.